No, there we go. Yeah, it's good. Sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of technical difficulty with our power strip there, but I'm joined by James Good, 2013 World Championship semifinalist.
Haven't done too much in the game lately, scrubbed out, so I figured I'd come join you on commentary.
We'll talk a little bit about that later. So we have on your left Tyler Ninomura playing Gengar Trevenant versus Jeff Anderson playing, as far as I understand, it's Manectric Virizion.
It's, from what I saw at City Championships, it's Manectric Virizion. He runs a Tropius in there. I think he runs Mega Manectric, and he runs Mew as well. I was seeing Dimension Valley as his stadium.
Oh, wow, okay.
If it's what he was playing at Cities, it's certainly a crazy deck, and it would be hard to play against it or formulate a game plan against it if you had never seen it before. So that could potentially be why he's, running so well with it. 302. I mean, it's a, this isn't exactly a meta deck. It's, I think you could even consider it rogue at this point. So to see, a non-top tier deck, performing this well.
Yeah, definitely. And you see, Tyler Ninomura should be a name that's pretty familiar to you. He's a 3-time regional champion, a multiple-time Worlds qualifier. I think he's qualified every year. He's definitely qualified 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, as well as many years before that. I know he didn't qualify in 2010, so there's a little bit of a gap there. In the seniors division in 2005, he got second at nationals.
There's the Mew that comes down. So.
Yeah, there's the Mew EX from Jeff.
And the Shaman EX. He is going deep.
And Shaman's a card you're a big fan of. No supporter there. Just gonna go ahead and Tropius.
Oh.
Yeah, he gets the drawback up. I think Tyler is probably the best player in the Northwest. I think he is probably top 10 in North America / the world. Jeff Anderson is a pretty unknown player. He's a dad from our area, has a daughter who plays occasionally. Just been playing forever. He has a few good finishes. He has some states, regionals, top 4, lots of cities wins, things like that, but I don't think he's ever really broken out on the national or world stage.
No, the thing about Tyler is he's just super consistent in his play. I've been playing the game since 2012, and I've just always seen him just performing well at every stretch of events. So, you can expect, at least 1 or 2 states cuts from him. You can expect him to go deep at most regionals. He's going to have a really good cities run. I've never seen him go a portion of a season where he just, doesn't figure out the meta or gets ahead of the meta.
Oh, definitely.
And, this is a really interesting matchup, too, because we see Jeff has a full art Virizion EX on his field, and for Dark Corridor, no poison if he has the right energy attached. So it could cut some of the damage output from Tyler's deck.
Yeah, definitely. So it seems Tyler's deck, for those of you who aren't familiar, his plan is kind of one that's similar cards have been around for a long time, but he's going to use Gengar EX's Dark Corridor attack to do 60, poison the active, or the defending, rather, and then switch into a bench Pokemon of his, which is going to be a Trevenant that prevents Jeff from playing items.
I think what I want to see from Tyler in this matchup is hitting Jeff's Pokemon, getting a good Lysander here and getting the full, 60 plus 30 poison on something, and then finishing it off through Gengar's first attack, which lets you place 3 damage counters. So 1 Lysander is effectively good for 2 prizes on the Muse and the Shaman as well.
Fair enough. You can see Tyler also plays Raichu. That's just kind of his answer to Yveltal, I think. Tyler's pretty well known for rogue deck building. In the past few seasons, he's played fewer rogues, I feel like, just as the format has kind of gotten... The good cards are just much more intensely powerful. But Tyler's always playing rogue decks. He helped build the Truth, the deck that got Ross Cawthon in 2nd place at Worlds in 2011. And this is along those same lines. I think Tyler is top 10 to 15 best players in the world. I think he is top 3 deck builders in the world. And I think Tyler is recognized by most players, especially older ones, but I think Tyler just needs a breakout run at Nats or Worlds. 1 top 4 from Tyler at Worlds or Nats, and people will start to realize how good he is.
Like I said, he's just always ahead of the meta. I remember when we were playing Cities 2012 format, Hydreigon was pretty popular, and so was Landorus, and Landorus got the better of Hydreigon for a little while there, and then Tyler started playing a crazy build of Hydreigon, which included double Keldeo, along with, I believe, Prisms or Blend Energies, and it just completely wrecked the Landorus builds. So, like I said, Tyler just really good at deck building. His decks are always consistent. I've rarely seen him dead draw. And on top of that, his tech choices are usually top notch. And this is a really good deck choice from Tyler. I had to play against it last round. It effectively knocked me out of this tournament at a 2-2-1 record. It's a really, really interesting deck. I didn't see it coming, but after playing, I realized how good of a choice this was.
Definitely. You see Tyler attacking with that
Wood
Trevenant.
Slam. I believe it's called Wood Slam. It does 60 and 20 to 2-benched, so 80 with the Muscle Man.
Tree Slam, yep.
Tree Slam.
And because of its ability Forest Curse, Jeff can play any item cards while it's active. Both of these players are also playing for their tournament lives. Picking up 2 draws in the early rounds was not too good for them, and a 403 record will not be good enough. 403 record, I think, won't even lock you for top 16, but would give you a chance to be there. So we've seen some interesting, because of only having 7 rounds in this tournament, we've seen some interesting plays. You know, this round, or last round, this round, and the next round are all players who are playing their win-in-ins, or at least playing for their tournament lives.
Now, this is a really good play by Tyler here to knock out, or attempt to be knocking out the Virizion EX. Once again, you get that off the field, and his damage output increases by 50% instead of doing 60 or 80. If he has a band on one of the Gengars, he'll now be doing 80 or 90 to 110. So that's pretty big. 110 is a perfect number against Shaman EX. You know, that's a one-shot. Mew's at 120, but he's also weak to Psychic, so that's a one-shot as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So
we see a grass on the Manectric and a pass from Jeff. Tyler is really funny. Tyler, he tends to play, I would say, above average in speed, but there are definitely times where he's going to play very, very fast or very, very slow. And I saw, I was walking by one of Tyler's matches, taking a picture of what he was playing for Twitter, and he was playing through his first turn very, very quickly, and someone turned to me and said, "Why is he doing that?" And I was like, "Why is he doing what?" He's like, "Rushing. Why is he playing so fast? Why is he being so weird?" And I was like, "That's just how he is. I think he, you know, has enough practice with his deck to know what to do, and he also is very, very aware of the time limit. He wants to make sure nothing crazy happens with that, as he does get the knockout on that Virizion."
And Tyler's already at 3 prizes remaining, correct? Is that what I'm saying over there?
I asked the players to spread their prizes out, but Tyler, I guess, just couldn't break the habit. But
I think it's 3.
Yeah, he took a knockout on the Tropius, and then that Virizion knockout.
And I'm seeing a head ringer. Did Jeff get a head ringer on that Gengar over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Head ringer with a mystery energy as well.
I guess what I would like to see from Jeff in Game 2 is to not drop the Mew at all, preferably. That thing just gets one-shotted by the Gengars or the Trevenants. And I would like to see him potentially, if able, hold the Shaman until later. I mean, it's just sitting on the bench waiting to get one shot. And I feel like the way Tyler's deck's set up, you know, it's going to be really hard to knock out the Gengars. You're going to be under item lock most of the game. He's got Raichu, who's a good trader. He's really good at trading against Shaman and Mew. So I think he might just have to stick with Manectrics here. And Virizion, of course. I think I would like to see his field without the Mews for sure.
Yeah, the Mew just seems like a sitting deck here. I don't know what Tyler's Lysander count is. But yeah, even the Shaman having such low HP against the Gengar's first damage spreading attack isn't great. Obviously, that's not as bad as a Mew. It could take a few turns to try to really set that up. But
I mean, these cards, Shaman and Mew specifically, they're really good against Seismitoad. You know, they two-shot. Or Seismitoad usually has to two-shot them. You don't want to be getting fragile EXs.
Tyler does draw the DCE to get the knockout here.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty big. Put him down to 1 prize.
Daniel Fryman, can you please come up to the front? Daniel Fryman.
Go ahead, get an Ultra Ball, thin out his deck a bit. Take a second Raichu.
It just seems like Tyler's deck is super consistent. These decks sometimes can get a little clunky running 2 stage 1 lines.
It just seems like something that just has a lot of options. Like we see that he has the kind of he took most of his prizes this game with a Trevenant, and then he has Gengar obviously as his main option, and then Raichu is just kind of a attacking for 120 every turn. Just has these kind of different angles of attack. Skyla is the top deck for Jeff.
And
There's a
this
professor's
is our last
letter.
call for deck lists for the league challenge. Last call for entry into the league challenge. The last call.
I mean, a Versus Seeker effectively ends this game. I believe, right? Maybe not.
Versus Seeker from
Versus
Tyler
Seeker on
getting
the Mew. He needs a DC as well.
No, he can. Tyler can just knock out the Mew with the Raichu, right? We'll do.
Well, I think no, because Jeff's gonna get the knockout with the Manectric here on the Raichu.
Oh, sorry.
He'll be hitting it for 120, and he has a Skyla. If he can get a Turbo Energize here, like a Spirit Link, Mega Manectric. Yeah, there we go. Spirit Link comes down. I assume he has a Mega Manectric, and at this point, his best option would be to try to accelerate onto the Shaman and hope that Tyler doesn't have any gust effects in his hand.
Yeah, that Shaman will be doing 150, right?
Yes. It'll be doing flat out 180.
180, right? Because it's 30 plus.
Yeah, 30 plus. I mean, and Shaman EX is a good card to play today, especially against Toads. With Mew and Dimension Valley for effectively one grass energy. Oh, excuse me. With the Shaman EX specifically, if you attack, when they take 2 prizes, you can one-shot Toads. So it's a really effective Toad counter. But I think that you have to consider the matchups when you're going to drop it. We see another Mew and another Shaman go into Jeff's discard. I'm just really curious what his Pokemon lines are at this point.
And then so we see that he has 2 Tropius, probably a 2-1 or 2-2 Manectric line, 2 Shaman, 2 Mew. I imagine 3 Virizion, but it could just be the 1, I guess, if he's just playing it as the.
I would imagine
ability.
he'd have 2 Virizion. I'd imagine it's something probably like 2-2-2, and then like 3-2 Manectric with 1 or 2 or with 2 Tropiuses. So I would envision as this looking like that personally. I'm more interested in Tyler's list, to be honest. How these guys, they're wizards, how they fit a strong Trevenant line, an okay Raichu line, and the 1-1 Electrode in there is just insanity to me.
Maybe we can talk to Tyler after the game and get a little bit of info about his deck. And there's a retreat by Tyler into the Trevenant. Just going to go ahead and item lock Jeff.
And I mean, Jeff is turning this game around, especially if he had something like an N here. Even though Tyler does have the Electrode to kind of protect against it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the Gengar now has 2 energy on it, so it's a DCE away from being able to attack. I like Jeff. At least he's doing a good job, thinking his attachments through. I like his board state right now for the most part. I'd imagine Tyler should. I'm not sure actually. Just you kind of see his body language. He's not sure. He wasn't sure who to promote. So, maybe he doesn't have it in hand, but maybe he can potentially reach for the game right here.
Certainly possible. I see he has 2 Junipers, a Raichu, and a Psychic in hand, so he does have the 3rd energy necessary for the attack. Gonna go ahead and attach it.
It does have a ringer on it though, so it needs 4 energy.
Oh yeah,
correct?
sorry, I didn't see the head ringer.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah, he just has to shift the turn back.
So, like, if Jeff had something here, like, if he could get off a Lysander and... Okay.
Oh, and there's an N.
That's
Can only
big.
put Jeff to 3 cards, but his board state is better, especially with Tyler going to 1. So, Tyler, after taking a very dominant early game, Jeff's starting to come back. It could obviously end very quickly. A Lysander Lysander Energy takes it all.
Right.
Tyler's not out of the game yet, but Jeff is doing his best to crawl back into it.
I mean, Jeff could have, if he had a Lysander there, he could have effectively just been in an overwhelming state if he could have got a knockout on that Gengar with the Mew.
I also would have liked to have seen Jeff turbo energize onto the Shaman.
Yes.
And just kind of, because if Jeff had a Lysander there this turn, let's say, and he attacks with the Shaman, knocks out the Gengar, like that would have just been game, I think.
Right.
Oh, Tyler gets to redraw with the Electrode.
Yeah.
I didn't consider that when he goes down.
He also just hit the 4th energy, but I think he whiffed the Lysander.
Yeah, he has the 4th energy. He has Juniper DCE in hand. I think he has fewer than 7 cards in his deck. So 60 poisoned. Gonna go to 90.
So again, if Jeff just has Versus Seeker or a Lysander here, we're going to see an amazing comeback here.
He did top deck a Lysander's.
Is that a trump card?
Yeah.
Thought it was the real deal.
Considers playing an energy retrieval, but
I think he also has an
against
Ultra
it.
Ball, which would be 60, 90. Coming back in. Are we going to see another Spirit Link? Wow.
There's a Spirit Link on that Manectric.
Wow.
And the Ultra Ball. So Jeff needs to retreat here, though, because he will lose the game. So he can't be attacking with this Manectric right now. He's probably Ultra Balling for the other Mega. Yep. Putting it into play. So he can take... Yeah, so he can just take the knockout here on the Raichu.
Yeah.
And then go down to 1 prize and then...
He is effectively forcing Tyler to have Lysander. And Tyler's in top deck mode, given his hand. He's not going to be able to magnetic draw from any cards unless he gets an Ultra Ball or some way to get those Junipers out of his hand.
Yeah, and the Gengar's attack isn't is mandatory.
Yeah.
So
this is not an ideal hand for Tyler. I see a DCE, a regular energy, and 2 Junipers. So I think he really had to have a big top deck there.
Junior and senior, top 8, please come to the play area.
I mean, he's not just dead. He can
Please come to the play area.
go ahead and retreat to the Gengar and then use its Gengar's first attack. But then he only has 1 more draw step after that.
Well, keep in mind that on Jeff's side of the board, he does have the Mew ready to go with the Revenge Blast for 180.
Oh, wow. Sorry, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
You're right. Good eye, James. So
It's Shaman and Mew.
he needs 1 more energy, though, right?
No, he can Revenge Blast is 1 colorless, 1 grass.
Right, so he only has 1 grass,
Oh,
so that's,
then yes.
I guess I don't actually know what that tool is,
I
but
thought that was
it's not an energy.
Okay. Is it a
Oh, Jeff has a Juniper in hand,
Wow.
so
Are we going to see him slam it down?
an energy will do it here. Yep, so there.
Yeah.
Wow, there's
Wow.
the game. Jeff Anderson takes game 1 over Tyler Ninomura. Tyler with an incredible start, going down to 1 prize to the Lysander, was 3 cards into his deck, and then Jeff came back. Was that a 6? Did Jeff come back 6-1?
I think it might have been 5-1.
Wow, that was incredible by Jeff. Now evening things up, or
Yeah.
getting ahead 1 game.
Going ahead. And, Tyler's deck is made to play longer games also. So to see 3 games out of this it's going to be
Might
tough,
be a little tough
for either one of these to win the series. Well, not for Jeff, obviously, but for Tyler to come back and win 2 straight. I think he's going to have to adapt and maybe, I don't know, because he had such a good start. I think that it might have just been not being able to draw into the Lysander, which was huge, and not being able to get the...
I mean, Tyler had about, what, 5 turns there where he just needed to go to Lysander, and he probably had, like, a pretty realistic chance each time.
So Jeff Anderson, 302. I know.
Yeah, well, Jeff Anderson up a game versus Tyler proved that he can do it. I mean, I think that no disrespect to Jeff, but I think that Tyler is considered one of the best players in the world.
Agreed.
I think I think 90% of the people watching this probably would have expected Tyler to take it, and he still could. Still 2 games, a lot of Pokemon left to play, but Jeff definitely making a statement by coming back there.
I mean, you see Tyler's ready to go. I think, like I spoke about, Tyler realizes he's going to need all the time he can get to win 2 back-to-back games, and Jeff's, pile shuffling here, which is appropriate. He's taking the proper amount of time. But Tyler would definitely like to see Jeff, present his deck a little sooner.
Yeah, not doing anything wrong, but
I mean, I give Jeff a lot of credit because he's always showing up to cities with just crazy decks. Like, he ran this for the majority of the city championships, but it seems like every time I have to face up against him, I don't know what I'm going to play, and I don't know if I'm just going to get steamrolled or not.
That's how Jeff's always been. I've been playing for a couple more years than you, and Jeff has been playing for years longer than I have, and Jeff's always been one to, he'll come to all the events. He's not always going to win. He's not always going to top 8, but he'll play mostly an interesting deck, and sometimes he'll break through. Like I said, he's won multiple cities. I don't think he's won states or regionals, but he's definitely had his fair share of tops. Like, he's a respectable opponent, and he always plays something funky. I remember, I think it was last year at cities, he was playing the Jet Blast Tornadus. Jeff Blast.
Jeff Blast.
Yeah.
There was a lot of sour grapes. The phrase was coined. Did you get Jeff blasted? Yes, I got Jeff blasted.
It's a dangerous game.
He was pairing it with Thunderous, and when everybody else was playing Yeti. It was a really interesting build. So we see Tyler starting off here with Pikachu. Jeff with a non-ideal starter in the Shaman, although he can technically synthesize with it next turn for a Grass Energy. He can accelerate 1 Grass Energy.
That's true.
From his deck to one of his Pokemon.
And it looks like Tyler starts off just a Pikachu active, Gengar banned, Burbank, there's an escape rope. Jeff's hand is pretty dead, so he might as well go ahead and call risk for 2.
And then he can just build it back up with Tropius's first attack. I like the comparison of playstyles here. Tyler, really nice, really neat. Most of his cards full art reverse. And then you have Jeff who, just the way Tyler shuffles, he's been there, he's shuffled a deck a billion times. Both of these guys have. But you see Jeff like drawing 1, and his hand is always upside down the way he attaches energy. I think it's a interesting clash in styles, personally.
Yeah, definitely. Tyler is definitely, I think, one of the best technical players in the world. Like, I think there's different distinctions you can make with player skill. Some is deck building, some is reading the metagame, and even in-game skill. A lot of it is intuition. I think David Cohen is a perfect example of there's multiple in-game skills you can have, and I think that David Cohen is a perfect example of someone who doesn't test as much. Has kind of had a lot of time off from the game, but just kind of knows how to play the game and will inherently kind of make plays based on intuition that is intuition, but also comes from some sort of knowledge. And Tyler is sort of like that, but also just is like very crisp, very clean, like knows all of the rules and knows how everything interacts and is always going to make the right choice. And you'll see Tyler stop and think, but it's always more of a like, I'm making sure that my thoughts or processes are correct, rather than like, oh man, I don't know what to do at all. I
always feel like when Tyler stops to think, it's because he's thinking about the next turn or the 2 turns. He's trying to plan things out. He definitely, whenever he has a turn, I feel like he already knows what he's doing. He's just thinking out future turns. I think that's the mark of a really good player, personally.
Whoops, sorry. Yeah, definitely. You gotta think some turns ahead.
So here we see a Manectric. I really like Tyler's board right now. He has the double Trevenant, double Raichu, and then the Gengar. I think this is, it's not as good of a start as Game 1, but it's still a really strong start. I think he's probably going to, with that final bench base, look for the final piece of the puzzle, which would be the Electrode. But
yeah, definitely. Sorry. There's the attachment on the Gengar, and he does have the Trevenant now. So you said deck Jeff played this deck during most of cities?
Yeah, he played it at all the cities that I went to anyways. He kept coming up with different variations. He started without having the Mew. It was just a specific grass and lightning energy, no Mew. And then slowly the Tropiuses came in, and then the Mews came in. And before we know it, I almost lost to this deck at the city championship that I went on to win with Virizion Genesect. So I remember round 1, and the biggest problem was he, like in the first matchup, he benched the Shamans too early, and even though he had overwhelming board control, I could just kind of carve through him with my Genesects. Otherwise, if he would have played the game where, you know, he just had Tropiuses and Manectrics on the field, I would have gotten crushed.
Absolutely. And I feel like playing a deck for a long time is also some sort of skill. Like, Tyler is very good at predicting the metagame and adjusting. Like, I feel like Tyler is just inherently very good at games. He's a game designer by trade, and I feel like there's some other players, myself included, who kind of need the more repetition. And, like,
yeah,
I would often change decks when I was playing more competitively, but I feel like there is a value in just kind of picking a deck and learning it, especially if it's a less popular deck where your opponents might not know it and you've seen all the lines of play already.
Right. Exactly. I'm now that kind of player as well, where, you know, I'm really comfortable with Night March, and I was testing Flareon last night, and it was such a fun deck, and I really liked it, and I just felt like playing against Chase Maloney, I kept making too many mistakes and takebacks, and I'm like, I can't do this in the tournament, and if I don't feel comfortable playing this, I'd rather not play it. You know, even if it's more powerful, if I'm going to misplay with it, it's not as powerful.
Fair enough.
Which is why I stuck with Night March.
Fair enough. I do think that's something, the amount of time you have to prepare for an event definitely says something about, it definitely is important and is relevant. Like, I would never recommend a really complex, like a Crobat deck, for instance. Right. I think is fairly skill intensive with knowing where to place the damage and, like, understanding thinking turns ahead. And, you know, if a player has one day to prepare for a tournament, I'm not necessarily sure I recommend Crobat to them. Something that was a wise choice by you. I always think that it's better to play the deck that you know and you're comfortable with than to play what you think is just better because it's all based on your skill.
If I had it my way, I would still be playing Blastoise, but unfortunately they printed a new water card that's a lot better than Blastoise.
You can still play Blastoise. It's still legal.
I mean, I've been saying that if I didn't do well, I'm probably likely not earning my invite this year because I won't be going to nationals or regionals coming up, and I have 2 more states left. So I think I'm going to go with Archie-Stoise next week in Seattle.
You should. It's still legal, man. Will you not be in at regionals because you'll already be in Europe?
I think so. I have to look at my flight for sure, but I really want to come just because it's regionals in Seattle, and they're always a blast. But yeah, if my flight, I think it might be the weekend after I leave, which sucks.
That would be unfortunate. So we see Tyler hits with the Gengar, promotes the Trevenant, and then Jeff's just going to go back and slap the Trevenant for 60.
And like we mentioned earlier, Tyler's just an absolute professional at this game. So I feel like, I don't even know, like I feel like this turn, like he already has his play. I think he's just setting up for future plays.
And there's the end, putting Jeff to 5 and Tyler to 6.
I don't understand the need on Jeff's side of the board for the double Shaman, though. That's just trouble.
Yeah, I feel like that's fairly risky. Like, Shaman's just kind of a low HP EX, so not necessarily sure that's where you want to be.
I mean, you can technically, like, Tyler can start formulating a game plan, if he can draw into Lysanders, that is, that involves just completely ignoring whatever it is that Jeff's attacking with and just trying to one-shot those Shamans. I mean, it's just
totally
muscle. It's just the muscle band, and make sure they don't have any grass on them.
So that Manectric is going to get knocked out if Jeff doesn't have a way to retreat at this turn, and even then Tyler can take advantage with Gengar's first attack. So it's going to be sitting there as a sitting duck, although Jeff does have the option of Mega Evolving it and giving it a little bit of a boost in HP.
I mean, this is a really slower game compared to our first game. So I would like to see him not Mega Evolve this Manectric and just let it die, and then Mega Evolve the other one that's fresh and ready to go. Just a matter of resources. You're going to give up prizes no matter what. You know, I know it has 2 energy on it, but, you know, I don't see the point in Mega Evolving just so it can take 1 more hit. So, I mean, it's just all about
that's fair.
resources, especially... Like, we don't know what his prizes are, obviously, but, like, if he has early access right now to a Mega Manectric, like, he should be starting fresh with it so it can take 2 or 3 hits, not just 1.
We just got word that Liam Williams, who you saw on camera just last round, is now 4-1-1, meaning that he needs 1 more match win. I don't actually think that 16 points is a lock, but a virtual top 8, or at least a top 16, so... his match actually did end in a draw, but his opponent conceded to him because he wanted to play the League Challenge instead. As I explained during that match, both players were out of contention with a draw, so pretty nice thing of Rio to do, giving Liam the win, and now Liam just needs 1 more match win to perhaps clinch top 8.
All I'm going to say is I'm glad that I didn't take that 2 a.m. bet with Liam, where the bet was if I lost, or it was whoever had a better record. If he had a better record, I would have had to bleach my entire head.
Yeah.
And if I had a better record, he would release his 40-minute review of Airbud on Burbank City.
That's true. I'm glad you didn't take it, but...
So we have Tyler now.
Getting the knockout there. Kabir Vergy is 4-1-1. Just needs 1 more match win to perhaps clinch top 8. Kabir put up, was it 3 top 8s between states and regionals last year? So pretty good. Just barely missed his invite, so hoping to go back for it this year.
Alright, so like I said, I would love to see a Mega Manectric right now out of Jeff. We're going to see an N giving each player 4 cards, I believe.
Yeah, Tyler has decided to... Last game he decided to completely ignore my advice, and this game he decided to also ignore it, but in a different way.
It is... I can't tell if it's like... It's like an R shape, but I can't... Okay.
He's only knocked out the Manectric yet,
Okay,
so it's just 3 horizontal and then 1 vertical, I guess. Good way of putting it.
And, I mean, like we were saying, this is a really slow game. This favors Jeff in the long run. What is going on here?
I think they were just...
Yeah.
Some confusion about drawing.
So I see an Ultra Ball. Ooh, Flare Tool on the Gengar. Nice.
Flare Tool on the second Gengar might not be super relevant. Not sure how this is going to play out, but Tyler does have the Raichu, so he does have some time to build up, although requiring 4 energy for that attack is going to put Tyler back a bit.
Right. To my understanding, that they are not playing any Dimension Valleys in this deck. It's purely...
Right.
Purely Burbank.
And there's the knockout on the Pikachu for Jeff. The evolution to Trevenant. Attaches a Psychic to the Trevenant, just getting ready to Tree Slam.
Here's the Lysander on the Virizion. Now, I'm not exactly sure why it's on the Virizion. Oh, it's because it's a Tree Slam and not a Gengar.
Yeah.
My bad.
I think he's just trying to kind of lock the Virizion up there. Additionally, I think that Virizion's ability is going to be annoying to Tyler, so when he has a chance to take care of it, he wants to do it now.
And we see a Tree Slam again. He did manage to lock the Virizion up top. So we now have the Shaman with 40 and both Manectrics on the bench with 20 on them each. Really strong board state right now for Tyler. Believe he just hit attach and retreat on the Virizion. So this is an unfortunate situation right now for Jeff in that there's no tool on the active Trevenant, meaning it's going to get another attack in. It's not going to be one-shotted by Assault Laser. We see an Ultra Ball come down from Tyler. Not too sure what he'll be searching out here. This might just be thinning his deck, if nothing else. Yeah, we're going to see a... I thought we were going to see a fail, but you never quite know with Tyler. Nope, and Stellar Guidance. So, and this is going to be a big Colress.
Yeah, Colress for the maximum currently allowed in the game now. Now, next set, we're going to see some Colresses for a little bit more.
Upwards of 16 cards?
Yeah, we're going to see 16 card Colresses.
I will just draw almost 1/3 of my deck. Oh, I whiffed. I mean, can you just imagine, like, the bad beat stories are pretty bad now. I Colress for 6 and I didn't hit the DC.
Know, right?
Can you just imagine, like...
Right. 17 card deck, Colress for 16, didn't hit the DC.
I just imagine at Nationals, like, he just needs to hit his 1 month. Nope, whiff. More tree slamming. So this is a really good strategy from Tyler, like I talked about earlier, just spreading damage out on the board.
Yeah, just spreading damage out, and then when Jeff does deal with this, it'll be a one prize, which is fine because then Jeff will go down to 2, but still not knocking out one of his main attackers or anything. Also giving him time to build up that Gengar. Looks like he's going to need a few more turns than Jeff gave him, but...
So he scores a knockout here. It goes down to 2 prizes. I think... Sorry, there was some yelling that distracted me.
No worries. So it looks like Tyler, if he wants to, will be able to... If he wants to, we'll be able to use the Gengar's first attack, Night Attack, and put 3 damage counters onto the Virizion. He'll take the knockout that way, and then he has that Shaman backed up. And if he finds an energy too, he can do it with the Gengar that only has that has the head ringer on it.
Right.
Then he'll be down to two prizes left, and we'll just need to... Actually, he can also just go... Oh, wait, the poison won't work.
Yeah, the Virizion EX is still in play. But this is an overwhelmingly good board state for Tyler right now. Just looking at the board, even though he's down 2 prizes, the fact is that Jeff's board has only one powered-up attacker right now.
Oh yeah, and
now
there's
it's knocked out.
So he found the knockout with the
Yeah.
Raichu, so he's just going to be able to do the play I talked about next turn. Sorry, that's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get to. So Jeff needs.
What does he need to do?
He needs a max potion, a super scoop. I don't know what he plays in his deck. I haven't seen either of those cards, but
I'm pretty sure he is no longer running healing. I know he hit me with a max potion once, but I haven't seen it. We haven't seen any healing, and we're almost through 2 games. So
yeah.
I mean, this deck is. He has a lot of stuff in this deck, so. Interesting. I think, did he? No, he didn't just pass. Oh, you see a Lysander on the Jirachi. So I think he's gonna go for a stall here. I don't know if it's gonna work.
Don't think it's gonna work out for him.
This deck that Tyler's running runs either 3 or 4 float stones.
He also has a Juniper in his hand, so I didn't see what else was in his hand, but I assume that he's just looking through his discard to make sure that all of his switch card or float stone outs aren't buried, because it looks like he doesn't have much more than 15 cards left in his deck.
Right, and how much damage does the Virizion have? It has 140 on it?
Yeah, so
if
can,
he just hits any energy, and yeah, you can snipe it with the Gengar, correct?
You can snipe it with the Gengar already. Like, he has the Gengar.
But he has
so you mean an energy to retreat.
He needs to retreat, yeah.
Yeah, he needs an energy, float stone, switch, whatever, which is why I think he's going to go ahead and... Actually, it looks like his deck had less than that. I didn't catch the count, but it looked like it was far less than 16. Oh, he also has the Colress. We're going to attach the band there. Yeah, and draw 9 cards, taking the more conservative route, as it were. We're going to see what pays off for him. Tyler did lose game 1, partially due to not being able to hit his out, so let's see. there's a...
No, the Wonder Energy cannot be, or the Mystery Energy cannot be attached to the Jirachi.
Yeah, so Tyler just missed it on a 9 card.
Wow.
Wow,
that's insane.
That's super unfortunate.
And like we're talking about, whiffing on
Yeah,
big hands.
That's super unfortunate for Tyler. But it looks like Jeff does not have the win this turn. So Tyler will get another turn. And you have to imagine that... Yeah. Okay, yeah, so...
Just...
You have to imagine that Tyler can get the...
I mean, you have to imagine, but... 100% sure. I can't imagine him being out of... You see a Lysander.
Lysander, the Virizion there.
And
into the pass, the turn back.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is rough.
What a crazy game.
So what... I mean, and Jeff is just like one Juniper away from just an insane turn where it's like Mew, Energy, you know, Juniper. Like, that's a reality. He will have to likely attach to get Escape Rope. Oh my gosh, this is an interesting situation for Tyler. It's not too bad, actually.
Well, I don't think Jeff actually has anything because I imagine that he would have just slammed it if he could win, but the Escape Rope will be helpful.
I see a Verse Seeker.
I'm going to go ahead and take a look through his discard.
As far as I know, Tyler is not running lasers. I played against this deck last round. I got a pretty good view of it.
Yeah, I can't imagine Tyler has lasers in his deck.
There's no relevant numbers that like a laser with Jirachi can hit, for example. You want to do your poisoning with Gengar. You want to get him an item lock. And the lasers don't really help for anything. So I'm pretty sure they're not even running one because I was worried about that in my game, but thought better of it. I was like, nope, I don't think they're running any sort of disruption like that.
And Jeff goes ahead, finds a Versus Seeker for a Colress, and is going to take a 9-card draw here.
He can't win. He doesn't have any gust effects other than Lysanders. He can... If he has healing, that could save him a turn potentially. But like I said,
well, right now he just has game if he can't. Sorry, Tyler has game if Jeff can't heal the Virizion because Tyler can just drop the 3 damage on the Virizion for knockout.
So we see a Mega Manectric come down. It's unfortunate that this is so much time just gone by. Yeah, this is bad for Tyler. Like, this is time that meant trying to win a Game 3, for example, or either of them for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler doesn't control it, though, because he can't concede. He's just going to go ahead and, as quickly as possible, take the...
Yep. Discrepancy in damage.
Yeah, they're just trying to, I think, just taking their time and determining how much hit points are left on the Virizion. No, it was definitely it.
Yeah, it was definitely 140.
Looks like the players are discussing something. You might call a judge. We have the video. It definitely shows 140, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Yeah, just checking into it. Jeff there, I don't believe was trying to do anything shady. I just think was legitimately confused. Tyler did play that sequence of actions very quickly, and we will go to a Game 3.
So what do you think going into Game 3?
I'm checking for time. So 44 minutes ago, I tweeted the round 6 pairings. So the match probably started 5 minutes after that. So they probably have about 20 minutes left. So enough time to finish. And I don't really know. I don't know what to say. I mean, we saw that game. You know, game 1, Tyler takes a huge lead, and then loses to, you know, Jeff kind of rebuilding his board, not being able to, and Tyler not being able to find a Lysander. Game 2, we saw Tyler get ahead, Jeff start to make a comeback, and then that escape rope play by Jeff kind of lost him the game there, as I don't think there was any sequence of events that would have led him to him finishing the game. So as always, On the Bubble is brought to you by Top Cut Central. You can visit topcutcentral.com, enter the promo code BUBBLE, and get 10% off your order. Top Cut Central is your stop for Pokemon singles, sealed product, and anything else you'd like. They carry other games, they carry board games, accessories, etc. So yeah, promo code BUBBLE will last through the rest of the year, I believe. 10% off your order, might as well take advantage of it. They also have a good buy list, if that's something you're into.
Alright, so we see a Manectric come down here with a Spirit Link and a Lightning Energy.
Very nice.
This is going to be a good start for Jeff. No supporter, though.
Yeah, drops the Tropius and just ships it back.
Yeah. So... what is going on? Can't even tell. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so this is a big
Juniper.
start. We have a Juniper, computer searching away at Verbank and AN. This is a really good start for Tyler as well. We see both players picked up the pace of play a little bit. I can imagine this being, yep, there comes the Phantom down. I mean, the Spirit Link is big. Like, he got that down before item lock, and you definitely want to be turbo energizing and just getting as much HP as possible. You know, building up those tanks. We haven't really seen Jeff employ that strategy until later in the game. So if he can get down this Mega Manectric early, oh, and we have a Juniper.
Gonna go ahead and Juniper away a Spirit Link in addition to other cards.
I don't know if I saw any energy in there. He's got the Virizion down. He's got the Mega Manectric as well, and the Grass Energy. Okay, this is an excellent start for Jeff. Going to be immune to poison. Going to start taking prizes on the the Trevenants and the Pikachus or Raichus. And if he can find a way to get some energy in the discard, going to be accelerating. And his board is great here too. He just has the Tropius, the Manectric, and the Virizion. He hasn't mentioned any of the Mews. He also hasn't ran into them, so we don't know, if they'll come down as soon as they find their way to his hand.
Yeah, Jeff also doesn't have energy in the discard pile, so that's setting him back a bit. But that turn 2 Mega Manectric is definitely where he wants to be. Tyler just is forced to attach a DCE to the Gengar, and he's going to ship the turn back. Yeah. Tyler, I imagine, will fire off that N once Jeff takes another prize, get a 2-card deficit going there.
He also has a Lysander in hand too, I believe. We have a Megaphone come down. Don't know how relevant that's going to be. It'll be really relevant if he Skylays here for a head ringer, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, luckily, Tyler already has...
Yeah.
Well, I guess it doesn't change anything.
No.
So yeah, there's the head ringer. Oh, unfortunately...
Time has just been announced.
That is time. I guess we were off on the time... But, so this is turn 0.
This is disappointing. Again, I think this speaks to the 50-minute time limit. We could see a winner here if this was a 60-minute time limit.
Oh, we could still see a winner here.
Oh,
actually, no. Sorry, I guess I just had one more
here.
turn.
Jeff gets one more turn to take 4 prizes.
I thought Jeff had 2 more turns, sorry. Yeah. So I wonder what will happen here. We had a similar situation happen last round with Liam and Rio, where they tied, but if they draw, they're both out of the tournament. Just kind of fighting for top 16 spots at this point. This is how this match is going to.
Regardless of what happens in this match, it's really refreshing to see 2 decks that aren't Toads. It's just you know, there's so much. I know Toad is a top tier deck. You know, we have Toad Puff and all the variants. I really think that there's a lot more creativity to be opened up, and I think Jeff and Tyler are both proving something here with these decks. Very non-standard. Tyler's maybe a bit under the radar. People, you know, are onto it a little bit, but nobody's onto Manectric, Virizion, Mew, Shaman. You know? So, I mean, at 302 at a provincial championship with this deck, I think it says something to the effect of we have enough cards in the pool right now that, you know, people are just looking at the big hitters like the Toads and the Yveltals and might not be looking at, you know, Mega Manectric, you know, and the power of just, you know, we never see decks that play 2 different types of energy, and we've seen in 3 games Jeff not having any trouble.
Go ahead and take the draw there. I think we're going to get Tyler back to talk about his deck a little bit. Say some things. I don't think we've had a Tyler Ninomura interview in a while. But yeah, I agree with you, James. Either has, I think there's plenty of room for interesting decks, even though Toad is pretty dominant, and Toad is not the most fun deck to play against or watch. We did make the decision to the last 2 rounds stream players with lower records just so we were just watching Toad mirrors all day. But I think, you know, the Flareon deck that did well in Florida, you know, Liam is almost making the top 8 with it. These 2 decks if they didn't play each other, could have both made the top 8 in this tournament. I mean, there's lots of things going on, and I think the format's fine. I heard some people complaining about the format today, had a few discussions about it, but I actually think that it's good. I think that there are a lot of frustrating cards, but I don't think that necessarily makes a bad format.
I mean, there are definitely cards that, like, it seems like every set 1 or 2 cards that are just straight up toxic. I mean, Headringers are a good example of that. Toads are a good example. Lasers are probably the first example. Maybe Crushing Hammers would be the first example of quote-unquote toxic. But, I mean,
I think
this is a
Hypnotoxic Laser is probably the most toxic card in the game.
That's fair. Good bad joke, Dad. Anyways, speaking about toxic cards and top tier decks, when did you decide to wear this top tier getup? What point?
Just dressing like a professional, you know.
I found it funny that when you came out of the shower this morning, we were both essentially dressed in pink undershirts and black overshirts. I was like, wait, what? How did this happen?
It's the movement. All right, I'm gonna go grab Tyler. Thank you for watching. We'll be back in just a few minutes with an interview, and then a few minutes after that, we'll be back with round 7.